In the evolution of aggressive inline skating, there's a handful of brands that have left their mark. One brand in particular literally changed how aggressive skates were designed, what they were made of, how they looked, and what was possible. A brand that took its roots from other disciplines like skiing, shaped by dedicated designers who actually skated, and a cadre of sponsored riders who defined the style and culture that still resonates with many skaters today. That brand was K2. Founded in 1962 on Vashon Island, Washington by Bill and Don Kirshner, K2 first gained prominence in the ski industry through pioneering fiberglass ski designs. The brand name referred to the two Kirshner brothers and the iconic mountain peak K2. By the early 1990s, K2 expanded into the inline skate market, applying its experience in materials and performance design to skate boots. Around 1993 to 94, before entering aggressive skating, they introduced the SoftBoot concept for recreational skates, replacing the rigid plastic shells common at the time with more flexible, comfortable materials. This innovation proved to be a major breakthrough in skate comfort. As aggressive inline skating grew in popularity in the mid-1990s, K2 ventured into that market with a unique philosophy: apply their revolutionary SoftBoot technology to aggressive skating, mixing it with their manufacturing expertise to create skates that felt as good as they performed. Designer Tom Hyser played a significant role during this period, translating street skater input into product design. Under his influence, in 1996, K2 introduced the Fatty series, which combined comfort-oriented softer boots with aggressive frames and sole plates. The Fatty bridged the gap between comfort and hardcore street performance. On the scene, riders like Ryan Jacklone, Dave Ortega, Luis Zamora, Sean Robertson, Cesar Mora, Matt Salerno, TJ Weber, Scott Crawford, Matty Mance, Pat Lennon, and more showcased these models in street footage and park competitions, demonstrating that K2 could hold their own in the aggressive world. It was a major success. The skates looked good, performed well, and under Hyser's design leadership, the Fatty evolved through iterations such as the Fatty Pro, King 55, Style Points Bob, and others, each refining the balance of rider input, durability, and boot fit. Besides looking different and more colorful than other skates, they added really cool and innovative hidden artwork. They were iconic not only in design, but in how they stood out when others watched in person or on film. Little details like that mattered. Aggressive inline skating was booming overall as an industry, sales were up, and for a while, you could even find K2 skates in department stores and sporting goods stores. In 1999, K2 released a promotional video titled On. It was directed by legendary stylish street skater TJ Weber and featured profiles of himself, Luis Zamora, and Sean Robertson, as well as montages of other skaters on the team at the time. It wasn't a huge success as a standalone video, but it's worth watching if you can find it. By the early 2000s, the aggressive inline market had largely standardized around UFS frames, allowing cross-brand frame swaps. K2's early aggressive models used proprietary mounting and thus lacked full compatibility, which limited customization for some skaters. In a quest for the latest and the greatest, many skaters moved on to newer brands. By the late 2000s and early 2010s, interest in K2 with the aggressive skating community had begun to fade. As the scene increasingly centered around the universal frame system and greater customization, K2 attempted to adapt. Around this time, they released the Varsity, a UFS-compatible aggressive skate that retained elements of their familiar SoftBoot construction while altering the frame mounting and overall design. While the Varsity checked the right technical boxes on paper, it failed to resonate with most skaters. Many felt it lacked the rider-driven identity and cultural connection that had defined K2's earlier success. K2 also quietly continued producing the Fatty Pro in its later UFS-compatible form. Rather than a full relaunch, this version functioned more as a carryover of a legacy model, available in limited quantities and with minimal promotion. As a result, it went largely unnoticed by a new generation of skaters, reinforcing the perception that K2 was no longer fully engaged with the aggressive community. But after that, K2 virtually faded out of existence as an aggressive skate brand. Then in 2016, after even more relative quiet in the aggressive segment, K2 announced their 2016 aggressive collection, introducing the K2 Unnatural and K2 Front Street models. These were UFS compatible as well, with new aggressive cuffs and refined Teflon-coated sole plates, indicating that K2 is serious about re-entering the aggressive market. This return effort tried to reconnect with the team rider-driven input that characterized their earlier era, though by then the roster had shifted and many legacy riders had moved on. Tom Hyser moved on to blank by Rollerblade, and again, K2 seemed to fade away. K2's legacy in aggressive inline skating is about more than just product releases. They influenced how brands thought about fit, comfort, and boot design for aggressive skating. Their SoftBoot approach, once controversial in aggressive skating, dominated by hardshell boots, helped open doors to new comfort-driven design philosophies. Skates like Rems, Deshi, Shadow, USD Carbon, Gods, Faction, and Icons, all SoftBoot aggressive skates, might not have been conceived if not for the contributions made by K2. The story of K2 aggressive inline skates is one of crossover. Skiing meets inline recreation meets aggressive street skating. It's a narrative shaped by designers and riders who dared to push limits, all while not sacrificing comfort for performance. While K2 may not dominate the aggressive space today as they once did, their influence remains in how boots are built, how comfort is prioritized, and how aggressive skates are evaluated by riders who value fit and style as much as durability. For skaters looking back at the aggressive rollerblading era, K2's imprint is enduring, a reminder that street toughness doesn't have to sacrifice wearability. What do you remember about K2? Did you own a pair? Did you ever want to? My second pair of aggressive inline skates were the Backyard Bobs. I got them for Christmas after shredding through my secondhand Rollerblade Lightning TRSs. They were a little bit more budget-friendly than the Fatties and the Fatted Pro, and they were made with sections of hemp on the sides instead of leather. It was a big step up from the Lightnings at the time, and that moment helped solidify my determination to be a blader. Do you have a favorite K2 moment? There are lots of other facts I wasn't able to cover, as well as riders, so any memories you share are welcome. Also, shout out and honorable mention to Pat Lennon. His 4x4 section was done in K2s, and I feel he was one of the most underrated skaters ever. His footage still holds up today. If you're new or younger to blading and wonder about its history, or if you're an older blader who just wants to geek out on nostalgia, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you can stay updated on all of our new videos. You can help support by commenting and sharing, as it helps with the algorithm, and check out bladingcreate.com so you can support us with some merch. We ship internationally and we update our products frequently. Thanks again for the support, and as always, go skate and have some fun.